Jane Moonshadow. J Moonshadow.
Yeah, thanks very much for allowing
Okay.
me to speak, and it's brilliant what you're doing. I'm doing the Sovereign workshop at the moment, so
Brilliant, 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 excellent.
um, I studied law in the actual 80s, so I was actually quite aware of what was going on. That's when we had actually proper law tutors as well, so we went through the history, and it was actually quite shocking, like what I learned. So I knew about legalese and everything. And I came across the birth certificate in the 90s after looking up, when I was actually looking up for some legislation for situations that I was going through at the time. And came across that. And I wanted out the system then, and nobody was working against it. And then obviously this has all come on, and I knew about, I've helped people with legal stuff and that in the past, and dealt with my own things and come across to how corrupt the actual courts are. I mean, we haven't got a justice system left at all.
Not at all.
And I've been wanting, like, for years to try and get across to people to stop accepting the labels. And also, one of the things on the birth certificate, it's quite hard when you're actually a woman, because we have a change of surnames.
Yes.
And it's where everywhere you read something, it's also contradictory. They're like misinterpret it. Which one do you use? It's like, I have my birth certificate name. I became known in, like, at one point at the same family name. So all my children and my partner, we all had the same name. We weren't actually married, because he was still getting divorced, but I wanted my children to have the name. So I inquired, and I didn't have to change it by deed poll at the time, because you can be known by any name you want as long as you do not use it for fraud. That's the only, any time, natural law. I live my life by natural law anyway. It's a way of living. It's not actually law. It's just a way of life. But you can't really get explained to people that's, that, because they just don't understand it. The law as it's used is actually used to so that we don't know what we're doing. And it's hard to get that across to people to actually understand it that haven't had any legal knowledge and training in law, because we're not taught it at school. We should be. And like and then, like, I changed my name before I got married officially by deed poll, because I couldn't have, well, I was told I couldn't have used the name that I had been known of that for God knows how many years, but it turned out I could have done. So I changed it by deed poll, and then obviously I got married and it changed again. But what I'm actually planning to do with mine is actually separate my legal fiction and my lawful name. And I'm going to actually go under my lawful name. I'm going to actually use my grandparents' surnames under my natural law, because obviously they can't deal with each other anyway. So if I'm dealing with something that I'd like have a legal fiction, then I intend to, like, obviously I'd have to use my legal, like, fiction name then. But if I actually go into the private under my lawful name, just like, because I'm also a spiritualist and do spiritual work, but when I work spiritually, I work under the name of Moonshadow. That is my spiritual name, because it's separated again, because it's not a human being that's working. So I've decided that I'm going to do that, to actually, because I wanted to find a way that, because they're selling our details, they're selling our data to absolutely everybody, all and sundry. I shouldn't be, I shouldn't even be getting anything like through the post or emails or anything. And I'm getting loads of stuff from companies I've never even heard of. And I don't have any contracts. I keep as little as possible in their system, because said I want out. And I just thought, you know, that's possibly a way that I've thought about actually doing it. But the one thing that I actually wanted to ask about is on my legal fiction, like if I was to actually set up a company account for my legal fiction under Companies House, which name would I use?
Your birth certificate name.
Right, so not the one I'm using now.
No, the name was on your birth certificate.
Yeah.
Because as I said earlier on, everything is built on top of that name. That's your foundation name, basically.
Right.
And then every other name, no disrespect to your marriage or whatever, or whatever your name's changed or whatever. But basically, that's just like two companies merging. It's like Sony and EMI merging together.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just thought, you know, that it's a way of actually doing it and separating the two so you can't confuse them. And not only that, I want to actually declare every bit of information they're selling useless.
Totally. The thing about it,
once I've done that, and like, you know, it'll be my internet, you know, that'll have a different name. Like, as you can see, I'm J Moonshadow. Well, J Moonshadow does not exist. Moonshadow is my spiritual name. So J Moonshadow doesn't exist at all.
This is
so how can, you know, it's fiction. Anything that comes under J Moonshadow, I know I can throw in the bin.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it comes under the name that I have, like if I'm going in my natural lawful name and I've gone into a contract, it'll be with a human being and like between us, so they will know those details. And then my legal fiction, well, obviously they know their details, so I figured that that's a way of actually trying to separate it myself. And also trying to get people to actually understand, like, you know, exactly like the difference and separate their names as well. So it might be a way of explaining to people, separate your names, separate your fiction from your thing.
The thing
I don't know if it works, but
so the thing about it with separating the name, basically, the most important thing is to separate your surname from your Christian name.
Yeah.
So if you want to be recognized, just be recognized as your Christian name. That's it. Because
yeah, I don't like my Christian name anyway, so I'm gonna
no, that's okay. That's okay.
I've never liked my name.
No, but again, as I said in one of the other videos, is if you wanted to change your Christian name, you could do via deed poll.
Yeah.
Because remember, when we was all born, our parents or whoever gave us our name. We didn't give ourselves the name. It's like you've given yourself the name Jane Moonshadow. So you can go and get that down as a deed poll. And your old name would be your Christian name and your new name would be J Moonshadow.
Yeah.
You see? And then anything from there on has to come in J Moonshadow. But it's built on, because when you're filling out the form, as I said to Alex earlier on, you've got your old name. Because you put your old name in there, which is your birth certificate name, and your new name would be J Moonshadow, then it's still built on top of the previous name.
Yeah.
But only you get to use that lawfully and you get to trade with that lawfully, and people have to recognize you as that because you've done it enrolled.
Yeah.
You see, in law. So yeah, there is quite a few ways, but the most important way, I would say, if you want to deal with anybody on a man and woman, or woman and woman man, whatever level, just use your Christian name. Don't use your surname.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Well, that's what I do. I just don't. I try not to. As I said, anything under my legal fiction, I have as little as possible. You know, I think I've got about 4 or 5 things, which, like, such as renting my house and stuff like that, my bank account, my driving license, and that's probably about it, to be quite honest. Keep everything. I've got no debt. I've got no credit cards.
Good.
Because you know, I don't do corporations. I'd rather, you know, all my life, I'd rather trade with the man down the road, you know, than corporations. Because corporations,
it's so much
the beast.
it's so much better for both as well. Anyway.
Yeah.
we have to leave out the bigger corporations, and
Yeah.
you know, it will go forward in a good way. I've got promises on that. That's good. That's good.
We'll get there. Once
Totally.
people realise the actual difference, yeah, and we're getting there. We're slowly, too slow.
Totally.
And I don't care, you know, I'm not even doing it for me. I just want to help other people. And I don't care if I die tomorrow. I'm a spiritualist, so I don't fear death.
This is
That doesn't bother me. We're born, we live, we die.
That's
It's what we do with our life that matters. But it's my children and grandchildren, our future generation, and we cannot allow this to happen.
As long as we know what we're doing, we can always teach it. We can always teach it to the next person.
Well, that's why I'm studying, and I'm hoping I can actually, you know, get enough, like, you know, knowledge to actually be able to teach this to others as well.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I don't know if Tegan wants to say any, or Peter, you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I'm good. It sounds good.
Yeah, cool.
I'm just looking at the time now. It is 5. It's almost 10. And we should we carry on for a little bit longer, or?
Yeah, we can do. I mean, I'm usually on here to the end anyways. So if people want to jump off or whatever, they can jump off. That's not a problem, because I'll always carry on recording until we finish, and then I can put all of that up. You know, if anybody wants to jump off, they can. There's no but do you want to speak to, I mean, like, do you want to say anything, or are you cool? Luke.
I'm cool.
Luke Calladine.
Hi there.
Hi, how you doing, Luke?
Hi, good, thanks. So I managed to get to a couple of the Sovereign Project workshops in person, but it's actually quite too far to go every week. So first of all, if there was anything online anytime soon, that would be amazing, because it's just not possible for me, and it like physical distance kind of thing. We
are putting something together on that. I think in the new year we will be doing an online course on Zoom.
Okay. Nice. See, I was living for Spain for many years, and only like 4 or 5 months ago I actually got back. So I'm very on the basics kind of things. I knew about natural law in the past. I had like an experience in Spain, like using just a general natural law, but now just trying to learn like the basic things. I'm not paying my electric, but I've still not really like make that first plunge to sending something back, because it's like I'm always getting a lot of conflicting information. You know, somebody's saying, oh, send this data protection letter to the original creditor, and then somebody's saying, oh, just say no contract. And then that's what it seems to me. It's like a lot of, and also when they try to trick you, I'm still not fully knowledgeable on that. So it's always trying to find out the best places to get the knowledge from. So I'm already clued up, and I don't actually fall into that bad pattern, essentially.
I mean, this is why we call it remedy rather than an answer or solution. So it all depends on what your end goal is. When you go on your journey, when you begin something, you go, what is it you're trying to achieve? And then you will plan your remedy to fit the goal you're trying to achieve. So this is why a lot of people give out information, and it can all be right and it can all be wrong. It depends on what you want to do. But normally I wouldn't just stop paying gas and electric. Don't just stop paying, because you've basically entered into a pseudo contract by paying. A lot of people normally do a notice of termination and give them 30 days notice and then clear the account. Peter Wilson probably goes into this. So it's always best to clear the account, do a notice of termination, do everything above board, you know, within honor, 30 days notice, clear the account, and then away you go. And then if they start coming after you, you can say, well, I've got a notice of termination here on record. You know, it's witnessed, I sent it through the post, it's got recorded delivery, that sort of stuff. So you should get your paperwork in order as well if you're going to do this, but I wouldn't ever suggest to stop paying.
I mean, the reason why I did that was just because I got to a point where I literally couldn't pay it. That's the reason with that.
There's a lot of people in your boat, they physically can't pay it.
Yeah. And so would you say I need to kind of backtrack some steps then in that case?
Now, what you can do is, depends on what utility company you're dealing with, but if you do a little bit of homework on the utility company, you'll find that it's actually a credit broker. So then you can contact them and say, look, notice of termination. The reason being is I believe I was tricked into entering into a contract with you. I've just discovered you're a credit broker. And then you can prove this. If they're a credit broker and they are selling you debt, if you look at the legislation, there has to be 2 signatures on the contract to buy and sell debt. And there is no contract. You never signed anything. So they can't sell debt to you. So there's that. But it all depends on the direction you want to go. If you want to fit your own meters, because you've got someone else's meters in your house, they're leased, they're owned by the national grid. So people swap their own meters, which you have the right to do. Even within their legislation, it states that the customer can use his own meters. And of course, what you can do is if you do fit your own meters, you can actually even contact the utility companies and says, you know what, I think I will enter into a business with you and I will give you some meter readings. However, you have to lease my meters and it's £1,000 a month.
Totally.
Yeah, so you just play them at their own game, basically.
Yeah, treat it as a business.
Cool. And is it, would you say it's a similar process in terms of like if you had like a loan with someone and you need to pay like a debt off, or?
Yeah.
That's what it turns you off.
Yeah, if you've got a loan, you can challenge the creditor. Now, what you can do, again, mortgages and stuff like that, I would never suggest just stop paying, okay, because that can cause conflict. But what you can do is question the creditor. So you can go down that line. You can continue to pay if you can afford it, but then you will question the creditor and you can say, look, all the payments that I'm making and the ones previously, I want all that back. If we find out that this contract was fraudulent or the creditor was not known to me. But yeah, don't go cancelling payments straight away. You can actually withhold. You could send a notice of payment being withheld. You can do that. But do everything in paper, get it in writing. Don't use the phone, don't use texts, don't use their websites, don't use emails. Put it all in the written.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Cool.
And Jose Olivio.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Jose. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Jose. Yeah. I'm following Peter Stone for 8 months now. I live in Southampton. So basically, my language is not English, it's Spanish anyway. So you can notice the accent. So I'm dealing with speeding ticket because I'm a delivery driver. So my previous job, I already left the job anyway. So I had a ticket from then, this ticket they sent. So because I've been watching Peter's video, so what I did, I wrote my letter. I said, I can't deal with this ticket until you send it back to me with name and signature. I need the name, I need signature. So I went to the post office and I sent you the special delivery. I feel like a month later, I got another letter from them. We give you 10 days. If you don't fill out the form in 10 days, then we'll take the matter to court. So I wrote another letter. I said to them again, I need your name and your signature. I don't have any contract with you. I don't have no lawful contract, no consent offer to contact the client. So if you want me to fill out your form, you have to send a new letter with your name and your signature, and as well proof I have a contract with you. So it's still like another like, because I send it as a special delivery because I always track it where they receive it. So after like, I think last Saturday, I got another letter from them. Now we'll start with the court procedure, all this stuff that they sent to me. So in this last letter, obviously, because I'm doing the Sovereign Project online with a lady called Liana. She's very, very good. She lives in Oxford. So I'm doing online. So for 22 weeks. So I've been doing that now, I think it's 6 weeks. So I got all this because I've already had all this topic how to send letter. So I send the letter back. I just cross in 45 with threading. I send all of content, all of consent, and I send it back. Now I think I was dealing with that because I wrote a Georgie from the Sovereign Project, and he gave me some tips to send back tomorrow. So my question is, what is, because obviously what is called driving ticket is offer. It's an offer, yeah, according to my understanding. So basically, the letter from the court as well, the summons letter, is an offer. My question is, what is the next worst case possible?
Okay. Have you been sending your fee schedule? So every time you send them a letter, what you do is you're saying, I'm charging £500 administration costs for this. So you charge them, you put it in a fee schedule, and what you'll end up doing is your fee will be larger than the ticket itself. And then what happens with me is they send you a letter and say, well, forget the parking ticket, because you end up charging them like £1,500 and they're after a ticket for like 60 quid, and they go, okay. But you've got to have a fee schedule, because eventually you can send them an invoice, and that's when they'll start panicking at that point.
Yeah.
I got this fee schedule today from, I think, Georgie from the Sovereign Project. So obviously, he asked me, so tomorrow I'll send this fee schedule with the original, because I have copy from the first and the second letter.
Okay.
So I'll send it tomorrow with the, what is called, from a special delivery. So I'll do that tomorrow morning as soon as I get up. That is my next step up. To be honest with you, I'm willing to fight. I don't know the language very well. I've been living in England for 12 years. Basically, I'm a Spanish citizen. Citizen is not good, but I was born in a tiny country. I'm born in a tiny country in Africa called Guinea. So it's the only country in Africa speaks Spanish. So I moved to Spain. So I noticed something was going on with the world. So, but I didn't fully, everybody around me is struggling in life. What is going on? I came to the UK. I've been here for 12 years. I have nothing. Work every single day. Yeah. Pay taxes, pay everything. Sometimes do 3 jobs, work 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nothing. So I got up 2020 with this injection start, all these I'm not to mention the name.
Yeah, we know.
So then I'll say, oh, wow. Yeah, we know, everybody knows, yeah. So I wake up, I try to warn people, and say, please don't get this stuff, because they want to kill you. They say, oh, you're a crazy man, conspiracy theory. So since from I wake up, so I can see, I start watching your video. You, Peter Wilson, a lady in America called Bibi Bachas.
Oh, yeah.
He's brilliant. Few other people. So mainly I keep watching your video. Seriously, because I love the way you speak, you explain stuff. So that made me, so this is the man. So I need, if I can fight, I can fight, I have some person, one who can back me. That must be Peter or someone of this. Because as you said, you have to fight yourself, then someone can help you.
Yeah.
But most of the people, they don't want to fight. They complain, that is difficult. I say, man, what you've done? You need to fight. You need to do something for yourself. And people don't want to. So this is my first challenge. My first challenge for the speeding ticket. So whatever happens, I'm not going to stop.
Excellent.
So I'm thinking to move to the next one, which is to stop paying tax. But this one is my first one for the speeding one. So as you said, tomorrow I'll write to them, special delivery. I'll do everything. I'll send it back. Yeah. Then I'll see.
Okay.
Because I think they have 6 months. Yeah. 6 months. After 6 months, the case will be. They have to close the case. Yeah. Because the ticket was issued in 8th of August, so now it's 4 months already.
Okay.
So I think they only have 2 months left to prosecute me.
Okay.
Be careful with
Yeah.
that, because every communication you reset the 6-month time frame.
Say that again, sorry.
Every time you engage in communication with them, you reset the 6-month time period that they have on you.
Okay.
Yeah, they might. That could be possible.
Can I just ask you a question? You know, you
Me?
said, yeah, you know, you said you got it as a delivery driver.
Yeah,
Was that for your own company or for that somebody else's company?
somebody else.
So with the company you was working for, can you
Yeah.
ask, does it state in their contract that you got with them that you have to pay your parking tickets?
Yeah.
No, it's not parking, it's speeding.
Yeah. Does it state in the contract that you have to pay the tickets with the company? Because the company should state to you that if you drive fast and you get a speeding ticket, you have to pay it. If they didn't tell you that, then they have to pay the ticket. The company is trying to put it onto you.
I think, yeah, but before it's not about it. I think it's not about only pay. They want to take points with my license as well. Yeah, I think that is the main point. You know, so I think the I don't know. I can't remember because I left the company 3 or 4 months ago.
If you left the company 3 or 4 months ago, if they didn't state to you that you had to pay any tickets, whether it's speeding, parking or whatever, if they didn't tell you that, then that's not your responsibility. It's the company's responsibility to pay the ticket. Because the company didn't tell you you had to pay the tickets. Do you see? Because you can always then write to the ticket people and say, sorry, that this is the company you should be charging.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see?
But what about the point? What about the point? Because obviously they try to charge at the point. That I don't understand.
No, the point.
Because I've got 3 points already.
Yeah, but the point. Remember, the points are only given to the implied name.
Okay.
It's given to the legal fiction name. It's not given to your. If you look at your driving license name will be written in all capitals.
Yeah, 100%. I know about that. Yeah.
That isn't you.
Okay.
Do you see?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. My question is, yeah, because I'll do what Peter asked me to do tomorrow. And what is the worst case